Hi. I've been tagged by a woman who writes poetry and puts it up on YouTube. A woman I've come to admire. I've had to write them up there because I've no memory these days. So I'm going to have to read it a bit. My beautiful Dutch mother fell madly in love with my handsome Irish father. They married, but my handsome Irish father had problems committing, and they had separated by the time they begat me. There I was, a fatherless child with a beautiful mother. What to do? Childhood and teenage years. My mother married my stepfather then in India, and we went to live in New Zealand, where I ran about happy. I was feral. I was a tomboy. Climbed trees without fear, swam like a trout, and I loved every minute of it. I was a real outdoor kid. The only bad memory I seem to have of New Zealand was one sadistic teacher we had, and I remember once he brought me up to the front of the class, and I, to this day, feel I'd done nothing. I feel still very indignant about it, and I had to hold up my hand, and he strapped me, and it really hurt. I thought that was very unfair. As I approached my 12th year, we left New Zealand and returned to Ireland. I hated the grey of it all, the rain and the indoor life. I could not understand why the girls didn't move or run or jump. I'd been so used to the free New Zealand life. But they just sat about inside. Well, it was always raining, I suppose. I descended into music. The Platters, Muddy Walters, Billie Holiday, I don't know, all that sort of blues stuff. But most of all, Elvis, who I was besotted with, and rock and roll. At 16, my family life fell apart, and this was a very sad time in my life, and it was devastating and had an unsettling effect on me, I think, for the rest of my life. I was on my own, and I had to learn independence. Number 3, work. I've done so many different jobs, I could not even begin to remember them all. I never minded doing any kind of job, really, apart from office work. I was a cleaner, I worked in a betting shop, I worked in a hotel, I worked in the travel industry, I worked as a doctor's receptionist. I wasn't very good at any of them, needless to say. I was absolutely hopeless waitress and filing clerk. I mean, I'm just so dyslexic when it comes to filing, so that didn't last long. And then finally I managed to find my way to art school in London. I went to Central School of Art and Design in Holborn, and it's now Central St Martin's, and I loved it. Anyway, what was next? Oh my God, have I done 5 minutes already? This is far too long. Oh, Lord have mercy. I loved art school. I better speed up a bit, and strung it out as long as I could. Postgrad in Chelsea. I loved London, and I became part of the art scene, mainly through the man I was married to, who was an artist and a critic. I had a miscarriage, and then I divorced and became good friends with my ex instead of being his wife, and we're still friends now. I've had many liaisons and affairs in my life, and I wouldn't be without it, to be honest. I dropped out of art school. I dropped out of the London art scene and went into Portuguese rural life for 11 years. My son was born, and that was the most momentous thing in my life. And for the next years, I lived as a single parent, struggling to do a turgidly boring job in tourism. But we had the sea and the sun and the good outdoor healthy life and cheap red wine. After a while, I began to sell some of my paintings, very cheap, dirt cheap, and even sort of lived for a while on my art. Back in Ireland since 1993, where I'd been teaching art, and I seized on an opportunity to become an entrepreneur, if you don't mind. I surprised myself how well I could do it. I haven't been the least material person in the world. I took very early retirement from teaching and began painting earnestly, and I now live modestly on the seeds of my former business adventure, and I do my so-called creative stuff. I never expected to make money from my art. Art and money have no connection for me. If someone gets what I do, that makes my day. If they get it. Art's its own thing. It has nothing to do with money. I really feel very strongly about that. And I hate to see people investing in art or money. I always feel a song should be free, and we should be all free to sing a song. And that way, I'm a bohemian and a hippie. Since I discovered my MacBook, I'm absolutely hooked and have not painted for the last year. I've been making little videos instead, and I love it. I know I will paint again, not sure when. My personal life is complicated. It does seem I've been destined to spend quite a lot of time on my own, but that's okay. You know, if you want to make stuff, if you want to do art, you have to be on your own. It's always difficult finding that balance, isn't it? At least I find it so. So those are my 5 things. Thank you, idlinfarm. I hope I haven't been too long-winded. 9 minutes. Oh my God, I might have to do this again.